And it is two who? Oh, Dynamite dudes on a rampage. And this is your host of WrestleZone.com, Dominik, the writer, DeAngelo, along with my degenerate dipshit face brother, Marcus DeAngelo of AdFreeShows.com. Marcus, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Dom?
Good. Happy Dynamite Saturday.
I'll tell you what, man. I miss the days of being able to shout into my microphone. I don't think I'll ever get to do it again.
Now you're with child, and the child is sleeping.
I'm very NPR nowadays when we do podcasts.
I don't know. You're more like coast to coast.
Oh no, an early run and early run.
Jeez, oh man, the utter disrespect. What a show. Starting off on Saturday night, we get the dehumidifier already hitting. Marcus,
Dude,
how do you not already turn this off at the point?
Like, is the biggest heel on our podcast my dehumidifier?
Yeah, you're the second biggest heel. You're a jobber of this show. Oh, hey, Nesh's here. What's up, Steven? All right.
What's up, guys? Hey, thank you for joining us as always. And yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about a very awesome episode of Dynamite.
And Rampage, too, bud.
And Rampage.
Yeah. So where should we start, Marcus? Is there anything in particular you want to start off?
Well, we're playing the hits, baby. So, Dom, you are host. So please, by all means, take the reins.
Well, let's go with this. I think one of the biggest takeaways was none other than Hangman's cowboy shit promo. I thought, if you want to lay down the groundwork for reestablishing Hangman after like the roller coaster of a AEW career he's had so far, this was the way to do it. And
maybe going away was the best thing that ever happened to him. You know, going away for a little bit, kind of getting to hit the restart button on it. I'm liking what I'm seeing, dude. What's up, RJ? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I love the promo. And Dominik, more and more, week after week, I said it last week, I'm saying it again. He is today's TA Magnum. He's Magnum TA, rather. I'm a little sleepy. He's today's Magnum TA, beyond a shadow of a doubt. That promo solidified it. I mean, he's Dom. Is he going to win the World Heavyweight Championship from Kenny Omega?
Yeah, I think so. Full Gear. That's his term. Like that was their inside term for the Elite was Adam Cole with Full Gear. You going Full Gear? And I think it's just serendipity, man. And you know what? You said it too, like the fact that he went away, but also the fact that he didn't he was proud of the fact that he went away during for the birth of his baby boy. Like, I thought that was one of the best parts of the promo was him saying that. And that's cowboy shit. And then cowboy shit is like coming back. Like, it was just great. It was a really, really good promo. I would consider it a top 3 promo of the year so far out of every wrestling promotion.
Nothing's more cowboy shit than becoming a father, Dominik. Changing poopy diapers. That takes Clint Eastwood. You gotta lock eyes with that thing.
Don't try to scoop Hangman.
Sorry. I'm the consummate heel, Dom. Always working.
Always trying to get your shit in, aren't you?
But no, dude, it was dad shit. It was great, dude. I'm loving that he's back. I see like the high level megastar if he's treated properly here.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, I think they're in the right direction of it all, and I think it's the way to handle it, man. Morgan,
Absolutely.
can you turn the volume down on your computer? I think I can hear me on you.
There's no way that you can because I'm wearing an earbud right now.
That's really weird. Maybe I will put in earbuds.
There you go.
Have them on me. Never mind.
Just unprofessional.
I don't know what's going on. Anyways, let's start with what else do we got going, Mark? What else we got?
Well, let's read what some of our people here have to say, Dominik.
I'm gonna grab headphones because I am hearing me quite a bit. So
yeah, Nesha, you were saying that Adam Page is who we were saying should beat Kenny. Yeah, we were saying that like before he even got injured. You know, I believe he was about to take him on at the pay-per-view. What pay-per-view? I don't recall. Might have been All Out, but in any case, we were saying like, hey, like listen to the crowd reaction. I mean, you can't pay for that kind of a reaction for a wrestler, and he was getting it. And then he had to go away, unfortunately. So we were all like, okay, we're shifting gears to Daniel Bryan or CM Punk. Somebody else is going to come into the title picture. But I'm loving that Tony Khan is staying in the pocket and he's saying, nope, the crowd loves Hangman Page. I'm sticking with Hangman Page. Dominic, it's a foregone conclusion to me. Hangman Page is the next AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
I'm with you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I got you.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I really do think he's going to win it. And I think it's the right thing to do, you know?
And Steven Chambers agrees too. He's saying Hangman versus Omega, potential match of the year. Great promo, great job of AEW building up this match. I can't argue it. I mean, Tony Khan, Dominic, is on it. The guy gets it. And I think that, you know, for all of the faults that he had, some of the growing pains that he was having initially, I mean, like he's more than made up for it with the booking he's had of late. When's the last time I gave a bad Marcus Meltzer rating? It's been forever.
It's been forever, a long time. Yeah.
This is pro wrestling. This is what pro wrestling is meant to be. I can't wait to talk about that Miro promo from
Marcus,
tonight.
thanks for reminding me about that. We'll tackle that next before we finish this stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
But RJ says, I really don't see Paige beating Kenny. My gut says Danielson now. I wouldn't mind it, but I think they would have done it already. I don't think so. I think you know, it makes sense right now to give it to Hangman. Like if he were to lose to Kenny again, that would not benefit Hangman whatsoever. It just wouldn't be the right thing to do, I don't think.
So we're looking at an eliminator tournament, Dominic, and maybe you can educate me. Maybe we can educate some of the people here in our chat. What is the story with this eliminator tournament? Does the final of the tournament take place at Full Gear? Is that
final takes place at Full Gear? Correct.
I understand. Okay, so here's what I think is going to happen: is that Daniel Bryan is coming. He's red hot. Nobody's beating him. Nobody can beat him. Great match with Bobby Fish tonight. Can't wait to discuss that a little bit. Unbelievable match with a cool finish. But in any case,
great story.
Somebody has to beat Daniel Bryan, and I think that the right person for it is Daniel Bryan wins this tournament. Hangman Page wins the title.
Who?
I'm sorry. Bryan Danielson wins this tournament. Hangman Page wins the title, and then Hangman Page hands Bryan Danielson his first loss in AEW.
I was just thinking the same thing too.
And guess what? They ended on a handshake, just like a double babyface match is supposed to go.
Right. And then they go battle the Elite.
There it is.
There you go. Yeah, I like did you know all the matches in the Eliminator Tournament?
Yeah, I just saw what they laid out. Actually, my wife and I always keep closed captions on the TV, just because we watch it at night and the kids asleep. Upper left-hand corner, I couldn't see. I saw it said The Dark, so it's somebody from the Dark Order, isn't it?
10. It's 10 versus 1.
Okay. All right. How about that for a match though? Preston Vance rather taking on Mox, and Mox is looking like an absolute savage of late. So yeah, it should be fun.
Can we see is that what the other thing? Are we seeing a heel turn from John Mox?
I think this is just him. This is just his character, right? Where he's just like this complete fucking maniac. He just got done wrestling Nick Gage, and now he's like coming in here. And he's like this Tasmanian devil tornado ripping through, and people get sucked in. He blows them out, and he's on his way.
You know what? I'm not totally. I think he might be turning heel.
I don't know. Whatever's going on with him, I don't hate it.
Look what he did to Willie Utah earlier in the night. Like, they just squashed him. And, you know, for weeks on end, he's been, like, kind of taking digs at a lot of babyface guys, like Christian Cage, and, like, a lot of different things where it's like, okay, and, like, even what he does in the ring, too, is a little bit more different, too. It's just, I don't know. I think it's, we might be seeing Mox turning the old heel here sooner than later.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. There's a lot of baby faces right now. Not a ton of strong heels in AEW right now. You know, I mean, obviously we've got the Elite, we've got MJF, we've got Miro, who I think is the strongest heel maybe in pro wrestling right now. But yeah, I wouldn't hate seeing Mox as a heel. Plus, like, how fun would it be to see him battling against the likes of CM Punk, Hangman Page, Bryan Danielson? The list goes on.
Yeah, you can really go on. And I don't know, like, if the tables turn too, because Mox and Eddie have been friends, and Eddie, a babyface Eddie, friend of the show, going up against a heel Mox sometime down the line, that'd be nice. I wouldn't mind though, Marcus, if they really did slow play a Mox heel turn just over the course of time. Just take your time with it. But
I think what they're doing right now is fine. Where he's kind of like he's just such a badass. He comes off like a heel sometimes.
Yeah.
Dominic, I'm liking to hear what RJ's got to say too. He's saying that Preston will show a lot of people what he's all about against Mox. I think Preston Vance has a lot of potential, world of potential. Great build, great polished ring skills. Not crazy about the fact that he's under a hood all the time. I think he's a nice looking dude and he can work. So take that thing off him, let him have some facial expressions and really show what he can do out there in the ring. But yeah, I like the idea of him versus Mox. I can see it being a good match.
Yeah, no, I can see it too, man. I think it's gonna be real good. And like then Archer is taking on Kingston, and I'm very excited for this one, Marcus. Dustin Rhodes versus Bryan Danielson.
I saw that and I popped. When I saw it on my TV, I was like, all right. I think I may have said it out loud or to my cat. He was beside me.
The cat was hanging out. Mm-hmm. He's ready to go.
So now, I have to say it to somebody.
That just says that match is next week. Is that true? Or is it?
I know that the tournament starts next week. I don't necessarily know that.
Hobbs is fighting Orange Cassidy.
That'll be fun.
Next week. That'll be a fun one.
Who goes over there?
I'm saying, okay, it just makes, Orange is going to go over Hobbs because look at what Mox did to Wheeler, Utah.
I don't know if it's pronounced Utah, like the state.
Utah, not Utah.
You're right, Dom. No, you're right. Orange is going to win. And, it could be a good opportunity for Mox to finalize his heel turn, by the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see what other comments we got. Leyland says, I think Evil Uno is really Bubba Ray. He might be Mick Foley.
How about that?
Little mandible claw with Mr. Sacco, nonetheless.
And Leland's out of Richmond, Virginia, saying down there. I used to live in Culpeper, Virginia.
Marcus, nobody gives a fuck.
Oh,
okay.
My God. Okay. Dominic, if my kid weren't asleep, I would yell at you.
Oh. What a father.
Steven, his dad shit. Steven Chambers is saying Orange versus Hobbs is Rampage next week, Dominic, for your information.
Okay. Yeah. And then there's another one in there too. I think maybe Nesh is right. Maybe it is Dustin versus Bryan. But yes, Marcus, hey, geez, another thing we're missing. Your boys, our boys, FTR, AAA Tag Team Champs.
That was something. It had a very old school wrestling vibe to it, but in a really fun way. I felt like something you'd see at the Sportatorium, but it was good and it worked. And I loved that everybody just knew. Like the minute they came out, I was like, "That's FTR." And I'll tell you what, the fact that FTR was kind of sort of working alongside Andrade El Idolo, I know that at the end of that, MJF said like, "Hey, so this is it. This is the end of our partnership." I wouldn't mind seeing Andrade El Idolo join the Pinnacle.
I was thinking the same thing.
He fits, doesn't he?
He really does. But also, I thought he was paying them for one night to tag together. So I thought that was coming up.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah. I like Andrade El Idolo. I like the Pinnacle as an idea of a faction. I don't know if the execution has been perfect so far, but it's been good. So yeah, I think it could be fun to see them join forces.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against Andrade joining. I think that would just enhance, especially if MJF and him started tagging together a little bit too. I think that'd be the way to go.
No doubt.
So, yes. And that was a good match too. Like that, the crowd really got into that FTR versus the Lucha Brothers. And, it just sets it up for more time to happen for it. So,
James Espanto Fernando Taguay. He's digging. Dang good Dynamite and Rampage. Yeah, man. Good stuff. Welcome to everybody. Thanks for joining us here. Dominic, are we going to talk about fucking Miro for the love of God?
Let's talk about Miro.
It was a great promo. We can move on now. No, I mean, I like it. And it kind of fit what I was saying before, did it not? It's like he sort of kind of like this kind of was a breaking point for him. He kind of goes off the rails even further, takes an even deeper dive into this whole like religious, like hating himself kind of an angle. And like, dude, it works for me. And like he's got these one-liners in every single promo he does now. It's like it's very, very Arn Anderson-esque, where it's like every single promo he kind of punctuates it with like just a little flavor. And this time it was, you gave me a body of granite and a neck of sand. I was like, what a fucking line, but man, no momentum stop for me as far as I'm concerned with Miro.
I think it built momentum because you look at it from a story perspective. He's like God's favorite champion. He's doing it for his God. He's doing it for his wife. Why is this not my freaking thing is not charging?
Yes, crazy unprofessional.
It is unprofessional. I'm gonna have to leave the room, but he's doing it for all that stuff, and then he's like, now I'm gonna kind of exact vengeance on everybody else, and then I'm gonna make me your champion again and all that stuff. And so it's like really heel shit. Like all that fake piety is like paying off. So I think it's really well done. Marcus, I gotta exit so I can plug this freaking computer in the right way.
Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing, man. All right. Kevin Davis, what's up? I'm doing well. Dom's doing well. We're both staying safe. Yeah, I mean, as far as Miro's concerned, I've said it week after week. Miro, to me, he's the perfect combination of old school with what they were trying to do with Bill Goldberg. But then you take a look at his promo ability, with his in-ring ability, his overall look, and this gimmick, which is like very like kind of religious based. And Miro is doing something that we have not seen anybody else do ever in wrestling. That's what I like about him so much. And I'm sure that some of you guys who are in this chat every week probably get tired of me putting over Miro week after week. But you got to admit, like, this guy has been out of control good. And week after week, strong promo, strong pre-tape promos, strong ring work. You can just see the polish. You can see the tiny nuance that he addresses in everything that he does. And I'm telling you, man, I'm hoping that Tony Khan sees it. He's a really bright guy. I'm hoping that Tony Khan sees that he's got just lightning in a bottle when it comes to Miro. Unbelievable talent. More than anything, unique. There's nobody else like Miro in wrestling. There's nobody like Miro who's ever been in wrestling. So yeah, they've got to put him over. Unbelievable.
I mean, to just jump back in, like they're setting him up to go on another, like an even more intense run than what he did with the title, I think. And it was to that point, Marcus, remember we were saying like, hey, I don't know if it will benefit him to lose the title, but I think he's gaining more heat this way. Like, I think they already set it up the right way,
I think if it's executed properly, then absolutely. But, I know I sound like just a wrestling fan when I say that he needs to go undefeated for an extended period of time. But, like, honestly, it's the right thing to do with this guy. He needs to be like this unstoppable monster. James, thanks for putting over our handles and whatnot.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
I always appreciate that.
Especially WCW Rewritten. Marcus, we're bringing it back, baby.
So yeah, 2028. Dominik Nesha is she's calling for your fucking job, pal.
Calling for give me the old pink slip. I'm getting out of Dodge.
Dominic Leland is saying he's a real wrestling fan from way back. He's glad that AEW came out. It does remind him of WCW and NWA, AWA, Smoky Mountain Wrestling. That's what I like about AEW, Dominic, is it does feel like a little bit of the old school mixed with a little bit of new school. We've got the Young Buck style. We've got this new kind of, I guess a lot of people refer to it as like a gymnastic style, but we've also got some very old school classic workers, very Bobby Eaton-esque workers, and of course FTR. And Miro, I think, shows Miro, you could have slid him right into Smoky Mountain Wrestling and he'd have been the biggest draw in the history of the business. So yeah, it's
Punk
that's
fits
what
in that category too, I would say.
What's that?
Punk fits in that category too, I would say.
No question about it. Bryan Danielson,
MJF.
Yep. So that's what makes AEW great, man. Is they've kind of taken a little sample from everything and perfected it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This was a really, I know we'll get to this later, but this was a really solid show, I think. And speaking of which, it kicked off with a very solid match in Malachi Black versus Dante Martin. Yeah. I was super impressed just with how Malachi Black is just able to handle himself. And then Dante Martin was a very, very good compliment. And I liked the story of him just using the springboard too much, and Malachi scoped it out, and that's how he ended up losing, was because of that.
It's unique. Who else comes up with that stuff? Who else incorporates that into a storyline that, like, oh yeah, he's got this ability, but it's actually going to work against him if he keeps going to the well. I mean, I haven't seen that before. So I mean, we're breaking ground week after week. And Steven just said it. Dante's the future of AEW. I like Dante from the first time I saw him. Unbelievable raw athleticism. And here's what's more important about him is that he knows how to sell. I like that he sells. I think he needs to lean into it more. He's like a great athlete. He's got incredible jump radius, like just unbelievable hops. But to me, that's one of the least important things about his game. A dude who looks like him, very slight of frame, kind of like a baby face, a literal baby face. It doesn't look like he's got much facial hair yet. But like this easy baby face, you could have like Ricky Morton-esque matches with him.
Jeff Hardy, like guys that
that's a great comparison.
And he's like the new wave of like high flying, like unique talent. It's like, hey, that's Jeff Hardy, man. So
no question.
Yeah, it was I'm so like after that match finished too, I was like, I want CM Punk versus Malachi Black feud so bad. Like I was like, man, just how those two would complement one another so well.
How fun would that be?
I'm pumped for that.
You know what else I thought tonight though, Dom, is we've talked about how we should maybe have an intergender tag team belt. How fun would it be to see Ruby Soho with CM Punk?
No, that'd be great. Oh, that's really cool. That's a really good idea, man. Yeah, I loved it, and I know we're bouncing all over, but I love JR's references. He not only mentioned the Eagles with Witchy Woman, he got in Don Johnson, Miami Vice, and then he also said, "Ruby, don't take your love to town," which is Kenny Rogers. So JR was nailing the references for me today. He was hitting them. He was hitting all the good spots for me. Mark, somebody that looks like the feud is continuing with Malachi Black is Cody Rhodes. And that whole video package, well, not a video package, but cutscene that they had where he goes to the Dustin Rhodes' Rhodes Academy, and there's all the Nightmare family trying to give him some tough love, and Orange showing him the ropes in the ring. What's the drill? The bull? What is it? Bull 5 bull, something like that. Dang it. I've heard it before, and I could not keep it in my head. But they did the bull drill or whatever it is. And, Cody was getting slugged and he's like, I'm not learning anything. And then Orange shows him a picture of his daddy with, who was it with?
It was his dad against Arn and actually a bull rope match. Oh, so you're talking about this bull drill. That was a bull rope match from, I believe, either early 86 or late 85.
Is it Bull in the Woods? Is that what it is?
Dusty Rhodes calls himself the Bull of the Woods, baby.
Yeah, baby, let's do it. I'm Bull of the Woods.
It was a cool pre-tape. I love that Arn is playing the Mick to his Rocky, where it's like, it's almost like you've got to hit rock bottom before you can start making your climb back to the top. Because, as the saying goes, like the journey is more important than the destination. And I think that Cody Rhodes is kind of hitting the restart button on his journey as a wrestler, which is, it's always good. Because now every time Cody Rhodes comes out, we're not thinking like, oh, it's more Cody Rhodes. Now it's like, okay, Cody Rhodes is the underdog again.
Yeah. It's neat to see. It's like, I'm curious how the crowd is going to react. Will he ultimately get a babyface reaction, or will the crowd still be sour on him? I'm curious how they're gonna, like, not necessarily right the ship, because you can't control what a crowd does, but I do like the story being told and how they're trying to get it across. And Orange is great. He's good.
He understands simple psychology, and it makes a difference. Just the way that he says things, how he punctuates sentences. Arn, you can just tell. Arn Anderson has been doing this since before you and I were born, Dominic, and it plays on TV. You can see it every single time. Dominic, I have to address this from James. Thunder Rosa and Darby would be a great mixed tag team, would they not? Both of them have the half face paint situation. That's good shit. Yeah,
that would be very awesome. That would be very.
James,
I'm all for
James. Hats off.
Intergender
for that
tag,
booking.
mixed tag titles. hook us up. Let's see. Leyland says that FTR reminds him of the old Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard tag team.
That's an apt comparison, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they've made no bones about it. They've come out on the record and said that's who they pattern themselves after. So it's fun watching them.
James brings up an interesting point here. The forbidden door is open. Can we get Jay Lethal in AEW? So Marcus, before you say anything, there were a lot of Ring of Honor references tonight, were there not?
Yes, there were. And I mean, there's a lot of Ring of Honor alum right now in AEW. So it makes sense to me, certainly. But I mean, why not? Why can't we open the forbidden door even further and turn that crack into a 12-inch opening?
Make it one of those Western swinging doors.
There you go. No, I'd love to see it, man. I like Jay Lethal a lot. I like a lot of the talent that's out there. And Josh Alexander is another guy who I think would bring a lot to the table. The list goes on and on. You know how I feel about Brian Myers. I think he's incredibly underrated talent. There's a lot of options out there, and it's cool that Tony Khan is taking advantage of all of them.
Yeah, making the most of it. And it's neat to see Bobby Fish get a lot of action right out of the gate, and in some name matches too. Now he fought Sammy Guevara, he fought Lee Moriarty on the Rampage buy-in, and then obviously tonight in the main event against Bryan Danielson.
I'm glad you brought up Bobby Fish because you know who came to mind when I was watching him tonight was Kurt Angle.
Wow.
Yes, very, very similar, like body language, body movement. I think I'm not saying that, he's like, I mean, Kurt Angle, we could say 2000, 2001, I would say was the best technical wrestler on the face of the planet. So I'm not saying that Bobby Fish is there yet, but I'm seeing flashes of it.
Well, I mean, Bobby Fish is very well established already, so I think he's got his own kind of unique style, but I think Kurt Angle's a fair comparison to him. What I think is just cool is him and Bryan Danielson, even just from a visual standpoint. I made this comparison on Twitter. Bryan Danielson versus Bobby Fish is like Spider-Man versus Venom.
Yes.
Like they have that kind of, that's the perfect,
they fit well.
And jelly match. Yeah, where it's just like, okay, you can totally see these guys going at it. If they could always feud at some point or another. Like if Bobby Fish was like the pure antagonist to Bryan Danielson's protagonist, it just made a lot of sense to that, for just even from a visual perspective, and then how they work in tandem with that. Man, what a story they told. Both of them working the legs, and both of them getting caught in the leg hold at the same time, and just Bryan getting the better of it, kicking the face off of Bobby, and then locking him in that modified heel hook was great.
It was such an abrupt ending too, and that's what I like about it. Is a big thing in wrestling has now become the false finish, where it's like everybody's got a false finish. Every match has 3 of them. It's like, okay, the match has to be over. That was a devastating move, and the dude kicks out, and that happens multiple times. What was cool about this match was that this should be the new false finish, where it's the abrupt finish. Where it's Bryan Danielson does that to him, and it's like, okay, I mean, that looked like it would hurt your knee, but no more than like a dragon screw would hurt your knee, right? It looked like it would hurt, and then he locks him into what looks like a very basic hold, and he taps out. And I was like, that was a great finish. Mm-hmm. Because like most normal people, if you fucking torque their knee like that and then put them in a hold, you'd be like, yep, I'm done. I'm tapping out. That's enough.
God, that's over.
Yep. So no, I mean, it was cool. I want to see more stuff like that, where it's like, I mean, Bryan Danielson didn't hit the running knee. He didn't put him in like the cattle mutilation or whatever he calls that finisher. He didn't do. I mean, that was not a signature move. He just beat him because he fucked up his knee too bad.
yeah. It's just like push came to shove, and that's what happened.
Right.
The greater wit prevailed there. And did you catch any of the pre-buy-in last night? Did you watch any of that stuff?
I did not.
Okay, so Bryan Danielson fought Minoru Suzuki, and holy shit, that's getting a lot of buzz and a lot of play on social media, but rightfully so, because
I heard it was a war.
laid it into one another. Real crazy. It was real good. And it's so hard for me to choose what match is better because they're both different, but they both tell a story. And it's both Bryan Danielson, who's my number one guy in wrestling. Like, so it's just, it was super impressive and very unique and stand out in a role. Like, I tell you what, Danielson is creating. You think about the matches he's been in so far in AEW, all of them have been memorable. All of them have been very, very good. So it's been a real thrill so far. So, and then he's following that up with Dustin.
What a match that's going to be too. I mean, Dustin, how old is he now? I don't recall, but whatever age he's at, it doesn't matter. He hasn't lost a step.
51 maybe or something. He's older than Jericho.
Honestly,
older than that, I think.
You could put his work up today against his work, 1995 debut as Gold Dust. Yeah. Like he's still right there, still a great worker. So it's fun to watch, and I am pumped up about Danielson versus Rhodes.
Oh man, me too. I'm very excited for that. Nesha is too. Marcus, what else we got here? Oh yes. So it was a short little scene, but we had Britt Baker and Anna Jay feud there, just kicking it up. How do you like that going in?
I like it. I like Anna Jay. You want to talk about brimming with potential. I mean, she's got it. I don't know that she's been able to. Steven Chambers saying Dustin's 52. Thanks, Steven. I don't know that the angle that she's in right now is a strong one for her, where she's just in the Dark Order and she's kind of like the glue that's holding them together. I don't know if that's enough for her because I think she's really talented, but hey, maybe putting her in an angle with somebody like Britt, it could help to get her over the top.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good way to, and she is such a fan favorite. So people get behind her, but Britt is such good on the mic. And she even just showed that, like in that small little instance of like, hey, no, they technically lost. They're losers and you're a loser for hanging out with them, like, and all that kind of thing. And so I thought it was really well played. I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to the TBS women's title tournament. It looks like Penelope Ford will be in it. Like nothing's confirmed, but they were making play like, hey, this has stakes to be, whatever happens here, people are trying to make their play for their spot in the tournament. So Penelope gets the win. She's going to be in it.
I love Penelope Ford. What a finisher. What a great finisher she's got.
It's a cool name too. What's the name of her finisher? I'm trying to think of what it is.
I don't recall.
It's a good name, I think, for a finisher.
She's someone that week after week trends upward. Just every single time she wrestles, I'm like, she's last week she was great. This week she's a little better.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's awesome. I see a great potential in her. So yeah, she's been a lot of fun to watch.
Do you think Britt joins the Elite?
I was just gonna ask you that question on behalf of Nesha. It's a good question. I think the answer should be no. Because what Britt is doing right now on her own is enough. She's really cementing her legacy right now as we speak. So I mean, for her to join the Elite would be akin to when Dusty Rhodes joined the NWO, right? Which I didn't hate, just because I'm a Dusty Rhodes mark and an NWO mark, but I can see why it would be deemed an unnecessary move because it's a legacy already cemented. Getting involved in somewhere that it really has no business getting involved.
I think that was more like tongue in cheek with her referencing the Elite and like Adam Cole, baby. Like I think that was more just, hey, we're dating.
Well, I know, but
I'm saying,
and
I'm
on
saying
paper it makes sense, does it not?
That's what I mean. Is like I don't think I don't want to see her either join the Elite. I think she's doing her own thing, and they got to let her ride with it because if the spotlight's on her, you want to keep that on her. You don't want it to spread thin and get saturated with it. Like all the Elite guys are able to enhance themselves and, already have it established, but Britt's like on a roll. So I don't think putting her in the Elite, later on down the road, if there's a story that fits it and maybe makes it make sense, where like her and Adam Cole can be like this heelish power couple or something, but I almost wouldn't have that be an Elite thing at that point. They could do that down the road, far down the road. But I think at this moment, I wouldn't put her in the Elite.
Dominic, is there a tournament or a battle royal going on for this TBS
Oh,
title?
it's a tournament. It's a tournament.
It is.
Now, I was going to ask you. They didn't say what the bracket is. They didn't announce how many people are in it. If you were Tony Khan, how many people would you put in this tournament?
16.
Say the same thing.
Yeah, that feels like a fair amount. I mean, it's a lot. 16 is a pretty big tournament. But that being said, there's enough female talent that you could feature in it to make it worthwhile. Plus, there's some talent out there who you could bring in to participate. I'm thinking about people like, is Chelsea Green signed anywhere?
I think she's like kind of just going back and forth. She's basically a free agent, but she's done stints with Impact. Obviously, she's been in ROH since she's been released. So she's making some rounds and making towns and stuff like that. But
Chelsea Green, Mickie James.
Mickie James would be good. Deonna Purrazzo would be very good.
Sure.
But again, I don't know if I were Impact and Deonna, like she's their champ. So to put her in a tournament to lose, I don't know if I'd necessarily do that.
It all depends on the nature of her loss.
Yeah, I guess that's true too. You could definitely tell a story of where she like loses somehow unjustly or something like that. Mercedes Martinez, that would be a great one. Steven mentioned her. Who else would you like to see?
I mean, on paper, I'd like to see Tessa Blanchard involved.
Mark, that's not going to happen. Also, she's with WoW now, or WOW. So, and that's already like getting some kind of crazy news and buzz going about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, La Rosa Negra, who I'm a huge fan of Mission Pro, remember where she made those comments to her allegedly.
Okay.
So, I guess the report is, I think according to Fightful, is that they signed Tessa Blanchard, WOW did, and then the report is that they also reached out to La Rosa Negra, and they were gonna like kind of have this angle where, or like they patched things up or something like that, or it was an attempt to patch things up, and La Rosa Negra was reportedly not happy with the offer or something like that. Like not happy with that decision, not like a money offered or anything like that. More so like what it was about. So,
I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. If there's any truth to the rumors surrounding Tessa Blanchard, she's got no place in the business. Nobody who has that opinion, or certainly is willing to verbalize that opinion in any way, has a place in the wrestling business. So if there's any truth to it, I'd sign La Rosa Negra and go ahead and show Tessa the door.
Well, listen here, like you look at, I mean, this is off topic, but you look at the John Gruden emails and stuff like that. You say stuff like that, Marcus, we grew up in a rural town, very undiverse town. And so we're very familiar with how people act in that regard. And you making those kind of references, there's something deeper there than meets the eye. So
right, there's no place for it anywhere in the world. Right. So yeah, it's obviously, if there's any truth to that situation, then yeah, I wouldn't want her. Not only do I not want her involved in AEW, I would prefer to not see her involved in pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think I don't think we're gonna see her in AEW. Let's see here. We'll close out here pretty soon. But Marcus, how about Serena Deeb? Look, a little bit of the heel promo.
Love it.
Got a little tease of it. But
love it. She needs it. It's I'm not going to say that she was not a strong baby face, but I think that she has more potential as a heel. I think that she has more room to have fun. We all already know that she's got the ring skills. It's there. So now it's a matter of saying, okay, how does she fit as a personality? And I think that most people find it easier, at least to my understanding, to be a heel over being a babyface. Being a babyface is hard. It's really hard to make people like you. It's not that hard to make people hate you. So I think that this is right for Serena Deeb. And I'm anxious to see what she does, man. I've already said I'd like to see Andrade El Idolo in the Pinnacle. I would really like to see. I'd really like to see Serena Deeb in the Pinnacle.
Even if it's like just an association, you know what I mean? Where it's like they're all in the Pinnacle together. They don't have to always come out because you don't see the Pinnacle together, except when they attacked Darby last week, and we didn't see them technically. But it's I think to have like a whole network almost of people in the Pinnacle wouldn't be a bad thing either. So
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I think it would be all right, right? What was I going to say in regards to something else though? We didn't cover this. America's Top Team. And did you watch Rampage?
No, I wasn't able to.
Very insulting, Marcus. Unprofessional.
My apologies.
So Junior Dos Santos, holy crap, that guy is damn good. Like, and he's loving it. He's loving being like in the wrestling ring. He's got a presence about him. Obviously, he's such a notorious UFC figure that he just fits right the mold. And like him being in that triple tag, Marcus, it was cool to see. And it just like when we've mentioned this before, when you know a talent that's not a wrestler comes into the business and is excited about it and has like shares that kind of excitement and momentum in the ring, it's very cool to see. And Junior Dos Santos did that. So I'm all for like just getting those guys in there. And Jorge Masvidal, he's great too. Paige Van Zant is fantastic. Marcus, what'd you think of that whole exchange between Jericho and not America's Top Talent? Jesus, help me out here. Why am I
Top Team?
Top Team. Thank you. Jeez, oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. Jericho certainly still got the backing of the audience. I mean, there's no denying that. Yeah, I mean, we said it last week. Their manager, whose name is escaping me.
Dan Lambert.
Yes, very, very strong promo. Very Jim Cornette.
The heel he gets. Holy crap.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that he's a big listener to Jim Cornette's podcast, because he's very much in that flavor. But yeah, it's been fun to watch. I'll admit though, it's been one of my, I'm not gonna say least favorite, but like least on my radar parts of Dynamite of late.
Interesting. I thought they're really heating it up. I think
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying like I feel like there's so much more to Dynamite now that like seeing Chris Jericho feud with a guy who's been in the business for 15 minutes is not blowing my hair back.
Wait, who do you mean 15 minutes?
Lambert.
Lambert hasn't been in the business for 15. Marcus, man, Lambert's been there for a while. He's been in Impact. He's been in MLW.
See, I before he made a surprise appearance one night on AEW, I had no idea who he was.
Oh man, he's great. He's been a heel in MLW. He's been great on commentary when he do commentary there.
Hey, fair enough. My apologies.
But yeah, man, I think they're heating it up and they're doing a good job with it. And I just interviewed Ethan Page just this past week, and we talked about like Dan Lambert on the mic and Ethan Page on the mic and what he's been able to do and stuff like that. So I'm very into this storyline, and you blending
Ethan,
in.
You want to talk about? I was going to say you want to talk about brimming with potential. Ethan Page, the looks he's got on his face. Jerry Lawler always said like when you're in the ring, you don't want to play to the front row. You want to play to the people way up in the nosebleeds because that way everybody gets to see what you're doing. Sure, that's Ethan Page. It's what he does. Every time he's out there, very big facial expressions, great ring work. Great promo, great look. And so how much more does this guy need?
Right. Hey, if you guys haven't seen it yet, go on WrestleZone's YouTube. The full interviews right there. We talked for a good 25 minutes about that, about the tag match that was coming up, and then his affection for collecting. And Dan Lambert, also a collector. There's a lot we talk about. So it's a real good conversation. Check it out on WrestleZone's YouTube. Also, what else? There was something else that I'm like, oh, we got to talk about this too. That I don't want to. But you didn't see this either, and this is a shocker, Margaret. You might have to go back and try to watch this. Is CM Punk versus your boy Matt Sydal?
Ah, okay. How'd it go?
Oh, it was great, and another great story told. Like they build it up like, hey, these guys have fought each other 4 times, and the last time they faced each other was like 7 years ago or something, and then they also faced like first in 2005, and Punk and him did a very, very good job, and like those guys know how to work, and it was a really, really good match, and like they ended on friendly terms and all that stuff. So I thought it was really well done. So yes, Marcus, go back and watch that. Go back and watch Minoru Suzuki and Bryan Danielson. I mean, you're not going to be disappointed. It's all good stuff. So
yeah, I'm anxious to see it. I've got it recorded, so I will be watching it probably tomorrow during the day. And yeah, I'm anxious to see it because I mean, you know how I feel about Matt Sydal. Should be possibly the inaugural AEW Cruiserweight champion. Got to get my shit in, Dom.
absolutely.
I wouldn't mind seeing him against Dante Martin in the final of that tournament, by the way.
Oh yeah, that'd be very good. Very good. I was thinking of another cruiserweight today. Who was it though? I was like, oh, he'd be a good cruiserweight champ too. I can't think of it. Hey, by the way, happy 10th anniversary to Ricky Starks. Today is when he made his pro wrestling debut 10 years ago today.
10 years ago today. Wow. Good for him.
Today. Yeah. Mark, get your shit in. Plug what you got going on. Well, I want to look up this bit about Tony Khan that I wanted to mention to you.
Yeah, you can follow me at Marcus P. DeAngelo, which it says right there below my name or below my face. There's my name there. So yeah, you can follow me on Twitter there. As you guys know, I work for adfreeshows.com, so definitely go check out Ad Free Shows. There's different tiers that you can join at. But let me tell you, man, the experiences that they offer are unbelievable. Just this past week, we had David Manning on adfreeshows.com as an exclusive Top Guy experience. And David Manning, he's what incredible insight, what incredible knowledge he's got of the business after so many years as a referee and a booker in WCCW. So yeah, go out of your way to check out adfreeshows.com. There's different plans you can join at, and it is worth every damn penny. Dominik, you had some interesting interviews. We touched on Ethan Page. What was the other Hall of Fame interview that you did?
Oh yes. So I happened to speak with Mick Foley, the hardcore legend, who got a little tip of the cap from Evil Uno tonight. But yeah, that should debut. I'm thinking maybe this week. I'm not too sure when we're going to get it up, but it's all about a campaign that I'm very excited about, and I think it's super cool, is the Tag Me In United campaign, which is all about mental health awareness. And all these wrestlers and talents got together to help further the word out about mental health awareness, not only just for everybody out there, but also for the wrestlers too as well. And it's a very, very cool campaign. So Mick and I talked about it for a good 15 minutes. And we also touched upon a few wrestling topics too, as well as friend of the show, Thunder Rosa. So be on the lookout for that. Also, Marcus, we had a very special interview as well, did we not?
Yes, Dominik, we most certainly did. Fresh off his debut with AEW, we sat down and had a little chat ski with none other than Crowbar, Devin Storm, whatever you want to call him. He is a journeyman of professional wrestling. Been in all the major promotions now. After
He's the guy. He is the guy that has been in everything that you can probably think of, like from a promotional standpoint, and that's coming from WAF to WCW to ECW, all the way ROH, AEW, TNA, and MLW too. He's covered so much ground.
I think the only one he's missed is AWA from the major promotions. But I mean, this guy's been everywhere. Incredible storyteller, incredibly down to earth human being. So yeah, Crowbar is where it's at. It was fun seeing him on AEW. And yeah, I hope to continue to see him on a national level, because let me tell you, the guy's still silky smooth, much like Dustin Rhodes. Yeah, much like Dustin Rhodes. You know, some of these veterans can still go.
I know he knows how to do it, man. And it was cool to see the Blue Meanie out there with him too. Two guys who are so smart to the business that it would only behoove Tony Khan and AEW to get them behind the scenes to help out and whatever, and do a lot of work that way.
Because, not only
in some capacity, because Blue Meanie's just got such a great mind for the business. Crowbar's so smart, but he's a long-time physical therapist. He's the one that got Joey Janela back on track and everything like that. So you give that a listen once it pops up. That's not up yet. So be on the lookout for those 2 interviews, as well as check out my Ethan Page interview. Marcus, we'll close it out with some of this stuff. Tony Khan has made some WCW comparisons. We got to see some of this.
Yeah. Dominic, you're frozen. You're frozen right now. You all right? There you go.
Here?
Yeah.
I'm good.
You're back. Here? All right. So Tony
around?
Khan made some WCW comparisons.
Yes. So this is what he said in a recent appearance on My Mom's Basement, which I believe is Robbie Fox from Barstool Sports. He says, what's happening right now is similar to what happened as the 90s went on. And right now, I'd say we're in the 96 phase. Like, where like big free agent moves has started to happen, said Tony. Like WCW started getting a lot of traction in 94 when Hogan and then Randy Savage later on came over. Hold on, a pop-up thing came up. Randy Savage later came over and WCW built. They already had a nice foundation stars, and Nitro happened in 95. And I think what's happening right now in many ways is similar, because in 96, there was a huge wave of free agency again. Even though not every business metric turned, you saw big growth for WCW. It continued and continued. But I think they would have had a much better chance to sustain and succeed and be around a long time had they not burned through a lot of matches, which is something I'm very conscientious of. So he says it's why I try to have a really deep roster, but do different matches that are exciting for the fans each week. But we know we're not going to burn through every combination of matches, because I think, first of all, maybe more young stars that we develop. And I think one of the mistakes WCW made in hindsight was they never got to see through a lot of the growth of their young stars. For me, I think the young equivalent of Jericho and Guerrero, say like MJF, Darby Allin, Britt Baker, Jungle Boy, these people are really important, and they're part of AEW long term. Both my plans literally under contract. This write-up closes out with the shows. I just really believe, as long as we keep doing shows that the fans want to see, and we're going to keep our audience, said Khan. And that's one of the things that I really believe 20 plus years ago, WCW took their fans for granted a bunch of times. And I don't ever take you guys for granted. And that's one of the reasons I try to keep a lot up my sleeve, fresh matches, fresh stars, and constantly trying to make the show better. Mark, obviously we were big WCW kids. But that being said, we also know a lot of its flaws. I got to agree with Tony on this one, right? I think, you pace it out, you learn from the mistakes of past transgressions, and you go from there. How do you feel about all those comments?
Yeah, I mean, to go a little bit deeper, it's also about focused storytelling, cohesive storytelling, where WCW, how many times have you heard the stories about how guys would arrive at the building and they would ask what they were doing for the night and nobody knew yet. So it's about planning ahead. It's about having a clear, concise story in your mind. And it sounds like Tony Khan's got everything together. Like he seems to have a grip. He knows what he's doing. It is about not burning through your roster, but it's also about clear and concise, continuous storytelling, because as we all know, wrestling fans, they pay attention to the minor details. We notice and we remember everything that happens in pro wrestling. So it's important to tell the story just like you would on any television series, where like every move that you have to make has to make sense. And so Tony Khan has been executing it well, very, very well recently. So I'm excited to see how it goes. But then also Dominic, he referenced how it's kind of like the free agents coming in. I believe I said this a few months ago, where I said the equivalent of bringing Hall & Nash in would be like bringing in Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Bray Wyatt. And it's kind of starting to seem like they're doing it. So I mean they've got 2 of the 3 already, and I mean look at how they're trending upwards. So I'm really anxious to see where they go with things. You and I have talked about them having too much of a stacked roster, but I think that with some careful planning, some forethought, he can make it work at the stage that they're at now. Now, if they had 15 more guys who are main eventers elsewhere, he's going to start bumping into issues, but I think that if he is careful with how he executes, everything's going to be fine.
I think what we're happening to see too is somebody that's like kind of was cooling down that you're like, okay, where are they going to find a place for? Was somebody like Andrade, and here they found a pretty good spot for him right now, and it's kind of thing like that. Now you think about other guys too that weren't necessarily on the show tonight, like Ricky Starks, but he had a match at a Philly Street fight with Brian Cage the other night, and then you also think about who's the other ones? Eddie Kingston wasn't on tonight. Pac. So there's some names, and Archer and all that stuff. So there's some names that you got to mix up. But yeah, I think, you lay out the groundwork, you kind of get yourself established, gets all this. I think a big thing too, that maybe people aren't considering as much, maybe, is there's still a lot of kind of restrictions happening too when it comes to pandemic and stuff. And people are still a little like, everybody's still, okay, we got to get through this whole wave of Delta variant bullshit too. And I think, once stuff really opens back up again and everybody's ties kind of the shirt collars kind of loosen up and everything, I think that'll start getting momentum. And we'll start seeing a little bit more come to fruition too. Not just in regards to wrestling, but I guess as a whole of, the US of United States of America. So there you go. That's how I feel.
How about that?
How about that?
All right. You ready to wrap this thing up, Dom?
Yes, I am. Marcus, what is your Marcus's Meltzer rating for this week?
So I can only judge Dynamite because I didn't watch Rampage. I'm sure Rampage was excellent.
Rampage is very good. So
I'm giving it a solid Dominik 7.8 this week.
7.8.
It's very good.
All right. So you thought last week was better then, huh?
I did. Now, I'm not taking anything away from this week. I don't know that there were any real holes or flaws, but there was also nothing that was like, holy shit, this week. So
I think there was.
I think 7.8 is a fair rating. Now, that being said, the main event was something else.
Mm-hmm. And you did. I also think what you just said too. You didn't see Rampage, and Rampage was pretty damn good. So
I'm sure that would probably play a factor.
That would definitely play a factor in it too for you. All right. Who is your MVP?
Bobby Fish, Dominik.
That's a good one.
That dude's been showing out. Looks like $1 million. I see no holes in his game thus far. I've had a very small sample size of Bobby Fish, but so far so good. I like Bobby Fish.
Bobby Fish is great. That's a great pick. I love Bobby Fish. And yeah, to that point, Spider-Man Venom with Bryan Danielson. But I got to give it. I can't help it. I got to give it to Hangman, man. That promo he laid down was such a huge takeaway for me. And he reestablished who he is, what he's about, and all encompassing, not just from a wrestling standpoint, but from a personal standpoint that fans can really relate to. Bringing up the dad shit, man. I just thought it was really good stuff. A very memorable promo for Hangman that you're going to hang your cowboy hat on.
Hashtag dad shit.
Hashtag dad shit. Let's make sure we don't miss any questions here. If there's any other ones that we did not get, let's see. Hangman MVP. Suzuki is James's MVP. James says Rampage was an 8.5, and he gave 8.2 to a Dynamite. Rampage. That she gave it an 8 and an 8 across the board. Steven Chambers gives Dynamite a 7.5. Leyland says one of the biggest problems WCW had was the wrestlers had their own agenda going on. That's a very true point.
I'm glad you highlighted that, Dominik, because I think the creative control was one of the major downfalls of WCW, where you allow somebody to come in and say, "Hey, I have control over my own character." Do you realize how much that handcuffs you? Yes. You essentially are handcuffing yourself to someone else's will. Obviously I'm referring to Hogan right now, where if Hogan decided, hey, I don't want to put this person over, he didn't have to, as per the contract that he signed. So I don't know. I think that that was a huge flaw in WCW. But that being said, Hogan was still willing to do business if it made sense, as he did with Bill Goldberg. So I'm not trying to go heel on Hogan right now. But I think that the fact that Tony Khan has complete control over everything, it could be a detriment if he was a bad writer, that he's got complete control over everything. But the thing is that he is a good writer. So he's doing a nice job with the pencil. And I'm glad that there's one person who the buck stops with on every matter.
And let's say this too, the big kind of buzz too with AEW throughout this week was the leaked card that got out. Did you happen to see that? Tony Khan was on the sidelines at the Jacksonville game, and somebody took a picture of him, and they zoomed up on the notebook that he had, and there was the speculative Full Gear card being shown. Marcus, me and you know from experience of doing e-feds as well as making tournaments in No Mercy, there's a lot of brainstorming that goes on.
Not to mention WCW rewritten, Dominic.
Yes.
There's a lot of strands that go into that kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know if I put a lot of stock into it, as far as what we saw or didn't see in that silly blurry image. But yeah, if what people are speculating they saw in there is true, it sounds like good stuff.
Sounds like good stuff. And if it's not, heck, how many cards did Tony Khan write out? That could have just been one of several that he's written out.
Right. One of 5 potential options.
Yes. So, hey, you know what? Just tune in week in, week out. It's been good stuff. Marcus, it's been a lot of fun. AEW's really running on all cylinders right now. I think what will help people too, don't focus so much on the ratings. I don't think that's too big of a deal. It's cool to talk about and fun to talk about. Obviously, it's been WWE's been catching some momentum and stuff like that. But hey, it's competition. That's what it's all about. But if you just focus, if you're just enjoying it for what it is too, it's a lot of fun that way as well. So
that's it, man. We're in a very fun period for wrestling right now. So let's not put the pressure on ourselves or anyone else of the business of the wrestling business. If you can separate yourself a little bit and enjoy it as a fan. Looking at the business of the wrestling business is fun in retrospect. That's actually Eric Bischoff's big line when it comes to his podcast 83 Weeks is, we cover the business of the wrestling business, and it's cool, but it's cool because we're covering business that he did more than a decade ago. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When you're doing that currently, trying to focus on the business behind the wrestling business, I think it takes away from the fun. Just enjoy the moment, and let's talk. Let's revisit the business aspect of it. In a decade or two on a podcast.
Heck, the landscape is constantly changing, especially today too, with how we're watching wrestling, consuming wrestling, all that stuff. So it's always a different thing. Marcus, 2 weeks coming up, Halloween. What's going to be your costume for the 2 Dynamite Dudes Halloween special?
The 2 Dynamite Dudes Halloween special. I'm probably going to come down here dressed as a disheveled dad. Dominic, What are you going to be?
I can't disclose that. I have a couple ideas in mind, but rest assured, I will be Halloweened out.
Well, I'll tell you this, Dominic. You pop off that orange shirt, keep the vest. Your debut Scott Hall right now.
Oh, wow. How about that? I'm trying to think AEW more in the lines of things. But yes, I could be that. I could just be shirtless underneath. I got to start doing a couple more push-ups, though. And get a spray tan happening, Chico.
Brother,
dude. All right, Mark. Anything else you want to say before we kick it out of here?
No, man. That's going to do it for me. As always, thanks for joining us, guys. Fun chatting with you. Please join us next week. Send us DMs. I'll respond if I can. My schedule's insane, but I'll do my best. Shit. Dad shit, job shit. I'm a busy boy.
Busy man. Check out a couple of the other interviews on WrestleZone. Colin Tessier interviewed Jay Lethal, who we just talked about. So tune into that. That just dropped this weekend. So give that a listen as well. So there you go, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. Late night, Saturday Night Dynamite. Watch some SNL, I guess, if it's on. And have yourself a mighty fine one, all right?
Adios. Thanks, guys.
See ya.